Season 6. I love Paris. We've had a little bit of fun and games on site, outside. And there we go. This is Tim Tam. Have I introduced you to Tim Tam before? Tim Tam. Tim Tam, come on. Tim Tam, come on. Say hello. Say hello. So Tim Tam is a gorgeous Labradoodle, and I'm here in Ashgrove, and I'm fortunate enough to be taking Tim Tam for a walk every single weekday. Hallelujah is all I can say. This episode is all about my love affair with Paris. I went to Paris for the first time when I was just 18 years old. I have absolutely no recollection of what Paris was like then because I was so young. I didn't really have a decent camera, and besides those photos that I took then, where are they now? Over 5 decades ago. They are long gone, unlike the photos that I'm happy to be presenting for your enjoyment. Because if there is one thing that's absolutely true, it's that I love Paris. Welcome to the Live Life Show, Season 6, Episode 18. I love Paris. Do you? Here I am in London, and the fastest way to get from London to Paris is via Eurostar. What a blast to actually be travelling underwater, 2 hours and 23 minutes, much faster than flying. I arrived in Paris on the 27th of September 2019, but how come I was in Paris? Well, it's her fault. This is Emna, taking a moment off from her duties, showing me around the highlights of Paris. What a wonderful host she is. Where did I meet Emna? Why, in Turkey, of course. Where else would I have met Emna? There she is in her beautiful pink sneakers. I met her only for about I reckon 3 hours, possibly 4. And she said to me, Victoria, if ever you're in Paris, come and stay with me. So I did. Not only did I stay with Emna, I also stayed with Chippie, the black cat, a little cutie, and the one that we hardly saw, the white cat, Snow. We had a lot of fun. My favourite place to see is the Louvre, or places the Louvre and the Eiffel Tower. Look at these stunning gardens. Walking through here, is this not picture perfect? And as you walk further to go up that path up to the Louvre, here we are. Everywhere I turned, knocked over by outstanding beauty. And when I'm there, ready to go in, a big crowd was inside. I found that out later, but there wasn't a huge queue just here. Look at these buildings. A stunning, stunning day. Went downstairs. Everywhere I looked, beauty. I took a lot of images. You're seeing just a few of them, and some of them are real fun ones like this one. That queue behind me stretched and stretched around lots of corners. That is the queue to go and see the Mona Lisa. I did not join that queue. I had other things to do, like take this photo, for instance. Lots of people took photos like this. They're a bit of fun, and strangers do not mind taking these photos for you. And look, such a beautiful, beautiful image. On the day that I was there, they had an international fashion parade. Would you wear this? Well, not me. However, that seems to be the way of fashion parades these days. Something doesn't necessarily have to be tasteful or sophisticated, just has to be the O word, outrageous. I then went to MontMarte. Oh my gosh, the cutest place. Did I have a caricature? That's a difficult word. No, I didn't, but it was so much fun watching everyone else decide that they needed to have one. I watched lots of soldiers walking around with their weapons, and interesting spot, totally picturesque, very hilly, beautiful. Whilst you're there, you might as well climb up all these stairs and go to this basilica. I am not going to try and pronounce most of the things I'm showing you today. You've probably already picked that up. Lots of people loved this. And yep, pretty crowded at the top. What else? Well, I'm pretty confident that you don't need any introduction to this beautiful icon. Majestic, just everything that I expected it would be. And also, I went here. Of course, one has to go into the Moulin Rouge. Beautiful, taking every advantage of the history, and walked around the streets, saw this stunning little ballerina outfit. Oh, wasn't that just the colours, the work, so intricate, sophisticated, classy, much like these clothes that I saw in a window next to this shop. 1 year ago, in 2019, September 2019, this was what a smart young woman wore in Paris. One style of dress anyway. I got really taken by this style of fashion. This museum exhibits 3,500 works of art from Africa, the Americas, Asia, and Oceania. I could wear this stuff. Yep. And this stuff. Look at that beautiful blue one on the left. I loved it. And look at this. This is a shaman's priest's dress. Talk about colour, intricate detail, just beautiful. And I would absolutely wear these. I just love all of that texture and layering. Gorgeous fashion. But the day came when it was almost time to say goodbye. So Emna and I went out the streets of Paris and sat down at this restaurant. It was pouring down with rain. Saying goodbye to me, Paris was. It was crying. There I am with my glasses sparkly, looking out. We couldn't see it from this seat, but just across the road from here, of course, the Eiffel Tower. Now, I have a story to tell you about what happened when we were sitting in this restaurant. I have been told that in France, there's no such thing as an aged pension. You can correct me if that's wrong, but I was told that that's the case. Whilst we sat here chatting away and I thanked her for being just the best ever host, I've been pretty lucky with the hosts that I've had through the almost 16-month epic trek backpacking solo. Out the front was this very old woman, bent over, grey-haired, and at the front she had this placard, in French, of course, and I asked Emna what it said. And this woman kept walking up and down and looking at us in the eyes, and she was asking for money. And the story that she gave on that plaque was sad. She doesn't have enough money for accommodation. She doesn't have enough money to buy food. At her age, would have had to have been 85, around about, She certainly was not living a great life. Now, what do you do in instances like this? I'm not encouraged to actually give money. If the circumstances had been different, I would have taken her somewhere and bought her a meal. It was a little bit awkward here. So yes, I was at the position where I did go up and give her money, and I wasn't the only one either. So whether it was true or not, she certainly earned a lot of money for her few hours patrolling at the front of this cafe. And she certainly earned more than the people, the wait staff, and what they would have been paid for working for that night. So yes, the Eiffel Tower. I went back my second last day and finally found a picture of the Eiffel Tower with flowers. You know how much I love my flowers. And if one just turned around, one could see this. I was forever enchanted by the incredible buildings, the rooftops, the different shapes of Paris. Just beautiful. The day came, as it always does, where one has to say goodbye. Goodbye, Paris. You have my heart. And one day I will be back. Because the multi-million dollar question is, when will that one day be? And no one knows, if ever. But my heart tells me that it will happen. So here we are with the heart key for this episode. First of all, I wish to heart you all. Operate more from the heart. That could be our heart key for this episode. Oops! Tim Tam! Now, you all were introduced to Tim Tam earlier. Here he is, Tim Tam. Yes, I know. Those bad people, Tim Tam, that dare to be in your territory, huh? Tim Tam, the Labradoodle, he's a gorgeous, gorgeous boy. Back to the heart key for this episode. It's an interesting heart key, and I'm going to show it to you first, and then I'll discuss it. So the heart key, here we go, there it is, and this is the heart key. See your story. What the heck does that mean, Victoria? Well, of course you're going to ask that. That's rather a weird thing to say, right? We always have stories. Something happens during our day, even a look that someone gives us, words that a complete stranger could use. And what do? Depending on the frame of mind that we're in, we make a story up around how come that happened and how dare they say or do that. They shouldn't say or do that. The truth is that we do not know their story. So we actually have no clue for the intent behind the look, behind those words that they used to us. It may not have all been a bad thing. Here's the second point about see your story. We all have stories about our life, about what happens, has happened, what's happening now, about our experience with the coronavirus. See the story. Take note of how you are speaking to other people when you're describing your story. Then somehow, not everyone can do this, although you all can. It's just that some think they can't do this. Reflect on how you spoke about that story. Bring it out of your head and bring it in front of you and see it. Ask yourself, when I tell that story, how does it make me feel? I would almost guarantee that most of the stories that you are telling, not all, but let's say 80%, let's just grab that from the Pareto principle. 80% of the stories that you are telling make you not feel good. It's about how wrong was done to you, how everyone else got a handout from the government, but you didn't. Or you're too old, you're too young, you're too fat. That's me now. You're too whatever. You're too something, too much, not enough. We'll so often tell ourselves these stories. And please, I ask you just to take a moment and have a look, bring that story out and have a look at it. How does it make you feel? You can change that story. I'm not telling you to lie. I'm asking you to consider your understanding of that story is just one aspect. The reason why the police want more than one witness to a motor vehicle accident is because everyone views life through their filters. Have you ever been standing with a friend watching something happen and you get outraged and they don't? You're looking at them and going, how come you're not outraged over this? And they're looking at you and going, how come you are outraged over this? What's the big deal? Why is this important? We create how we feel, not what's out there. We decide to feel bad, less than, sick, suicidal, depressed, whatever other words you choose to use. Yes, I'm not saying there aren't other factors, but let's look at this one factor first. Have a look at how you are viewing, how you interpret what's happening. What is your story? See it. How does it make you feel? Decide to have a look at that story from another point of view. For instance, just as a quick example, I could say how the fact that I didn't find out, thank you, Enza, it is true. The fact that I didn't find out till I was 38 that my father was not my biological father, that had been hidden from me all these years, I could have really made that into quite a poor me story. Now, I'm not saying that I didn't slip into that, especially initially. And then I realized that there were actually quite a lot of benefits. I've talked about that in another video. Thank you for joining me today. Enza, you've been to Paris a couple of times. My first time was when I was 18, too young to remember anything. But these 7 nights that I spent in Paris this time were super duper special. And I look forward to the day when I can go back. And all I can say, guys, is I hope that that isn't that far into the future. Thank you for joining me today. Bye.